Well, g'day there, everybody. Welcome back to another A-League Couch Critics video. We'll be chatting about the Australia Cup and the new format for the Asian Champions League and Asian Champions League 2. If you're a new subscriber, thanks so much and great to see you here. You probably found us after Brad's fantastic history videos. We've been covering some stuff, and we definitely want to keep doing that. But this is a bit more of our usual program, and so let's say hello to Brad. How you going, Brad?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. No, I'm doing good. Actually, no, I'm not, because it's the A-League off season, so it's actually pretty boring.
That's right. We've got plenty still to chat about, though. Like the A-League, it's in hibernation at the moment, and we miss it dearly. But good stuff happening, particularly the Australia Cup draw. And so let's dive straight in and chat about that. Australia Cup round of 32 draw was last night as we're recording. And we now know kind of the fixtures coming up kind of mid to late August. Those games will be played. Bradley, what do you make of the draw? What are the highlights for you?
I just think it's exciting to have a bit more top-level football to look forward to. Of course, we've got all our respective state league competitions, but I'm just a big fan of the Australia Cup. I think it's one of the most purest sports competitions we have in this country across any sport. I'm really looking forward to quite a few fixtures, particularly the NPL/A-League lineups. I mean, some, just looking at the draw that comes to mind, is Heidelberg hosting Central Coast.
Get that up on the screen.
Oh yeah, let's get it up. Yeah, that's the first page there. On that page there, I'm looking forward to Heidelberg and Central Coast. Of course, as a Wanderers fan, I'm looking forward to being disappointed when we play Brisbane City. I don't know if you can flick across there, because that's only half the draw there, Samuel.
Yep, there we go.
Yeah, like the other ones, Oakley Cannons and Sydney FC. That's a rematch of a fixture from a couple of years ago, which Oakley actually won. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
South Melbourne as well against Wellington. Of course, South Melbourne are the self-appointed best club in the land. So it'll be interesting to see if they can get more than 30 people at their game for that match. Blacktown City v Adelaide United. Rockdale on the back of a 9-0 smacking to Marconi. Besides that result, they've actually been playing really well in NPL New South Wales, and that'll be interesting to see how they go against Newcastle or Western United. But those are some of the fixtures that first come to mind there. But there's just a lot of also just NPL matchups, which is bound to happen when there's quite a lot of NPL teams in it. Yeah, no, I'm just really looking forward to it. It's an exciting competition. And I'm hoping for some cup sets. Where will they come? Who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you mentioned, plenty of NPL teams, and I think just having the punishment for the bottom four A-League teams to have to play off into their position in the Australia Cup. So Newcastle Jets have to take on Western United, and Brisbane Roar take on Perth Glory up in Darwin in just a couple of weeks' time. Of course, for Jets or Western United, they kind of get a better draw. They have to go to Rockdale, which, depending on the date, I reckon I could make it along to that match. That will be fantastic. But Brisbane Roar or Perth Glory have to face Melbourne City, who will be licking their wounds after the season they've had. But just some cool fixtures like Darwin Hearts in the competition. I think this is their first appearance in the round of 32, so that's pretty huge for them. Lambton Jaffers to face Melbourne Victory. That's a huge game for them, and that'll be really cool. The oldest team in the Australia Cup round of 32, Lambton Jaffers. Really,
1957. I don't think they're particularly old. Maybe Edgeworth might be a bit older.
Edgeworth could be Edgeworth.
Oh no, they're 1960. Nah, there are some Newcastle clubs up there that are quite old, but yeah. But what a name, Lambton Jaffers. Jaffa like a biscuit.
Yeah, but there's some real surprising. We're missing some of the kind of classic round of 32 teams. The fact that we've got teams like Glenorchy Knights and New South Wales Spirit, who knocked off Sydney United 58 to get into this, is pretty great. Olympic FC have been there before, but FC Melbourne Serbia, that's pretty cool, and Modbury Jets as well. So I think it's going to be a really exciting lot of fixtures. And Bradley, there's been bit of a change in the way that things will work from the next round. So after this round of fixtures into the round of 16, it'll then be a set draw from there on to the final. What do you make of that change?
Obviously, I think it's just easier for the people trying to organise games that they can have a bit of an idea about when games might be used. Obviously, we share a lot of clubs share stadiums, so trying to book it out and all that. It's not as easy overseas when teams own their grounds outright. I don't really mind. Some people might mind, but I think it'll be a bit interesting to see. They'll do the round of 16 draws, but it'll also be good to just look at that bracket and kind of predict and play around with and see how potential knockouts could end up being played out. So it's a bit of a change. I don't really mind. I'm not phased either way. We still have NPL teams getting, even if they're drawn away to an A-League team, they automatically get the home game fixture. I'm not necessarily opposed to that. I think one day, hopefully, it'll become a full open draw where it doesn't matter who's at home or not. I know they got rid of the rule where they rigged it, where an NPL team would always, or a state federation team was always guaranteed to make it the semi-final, at least one. I think that's good that it's gone because there's more merit on teams making it that far. But yeah, I don't mind the change. It is a change. Don't know if it spices it up too much, but it's good. What I really like to see in the future.
It means you're going to plan a away trip potentially. If Sydney FC, you could see, if we win this game and the next game, we could end up here. Yeah, I'm going to, potentially allows for fans to try and make it and gives a bit more wriggle room, particularly for NPL clubs to maybe plan somewhere, which is cool.
Yeah, that'd be good. I'd like to see the competition actually expand. I think we got 32 teams in it at the moment. I'm actually not a fan of A-League clubs missing out because I think it makes it even better for the NPL clubs that there's the option that there's more A-League teams, the chance that they can draw them. But at the moment, it's just the way it's played out. This draw was already set when the Australia Cup first started in 2014. We only had 10 A-League teams, and so it was perfect where there was 22 spots to go to state league clubs, but now we're at a point where we have 12 teams. Next season we'll have 13 teams, and potentially the year after we'll have 14. So I think we might see a bit of a change to the structure of the Australia Cup in the next couple of years. Will Auckland and Wellington keep staying in it? Like, it is the Australia Cup. I haven't got a problem with Auckland and Wellington in the A-League, but the Australia Cup, they're not even allowed to play home games, Wellington. So will they have a future in the competition? Anyway, those are just some of my thoughts.
Yeah, and things will change with the National Second Division kind of kicking off next year as well. That will add another kind of level of teams that could be introduced earlier or later into the competition. So that might change things as well, and how that works with the state-based, particularly because the National Second Division will be heavily weighted towards New South Wales and Melbourne, as is the A-League. But that might see a slight change in those things. But yeah, it's interesting, and we're really looking forward. So make sure to let us know which Australia Cup game you're going to be heading along. If any of you are fans of some of those NPL clubs, we'll be getting along to their games. We'd love to know that. And another competition that's changing and restructuring is the Asian Champions League, and that has some big implications for some Australian clubs, particularly Central Coast Mariners, who are in the Asian Champions League Elite. It's now called the top competition to kind of match, I guess, what would classically be known as the Champions League in Europe. And then you've got the Asian Champions League 2, terrible name, by the way. But you've got that competition, and Sydney FC go into that. But these competitions are a little bit different. It's going to be harder for a Sydney FC to win the ACL 2 as opposed to Central Coast Mariners, who won the second tier competition in the year just gone. And the real big thing is the Asian Champions League Elite and what the prize money is. And so let me just chuck up on the screen as well here, Bradley, some details about that, because it's going to be pretty big. If I can just find it. Here we go.
There you go. You get at least $800,000, do you, for qualifying for the elite comp, which is, you know, easy money for the Mariners. You know, you make the round of 16, that's $1 million.
It's 1.2 million Australian dollars.
Oh yes, that's USD. Yeah.
Which at this stage of the competition, it will pretty much cover their transport. Because of the way things are changing in that competition. So instead of being a group stage competition, it's now actually going to be a 2 stages. You've got your east and your west of the competition, 12 teams in each of those, and you'll play 8 teams from your kind of zone. And then at the end of that kind of league, in East and West, the top 8 teams will both progress to a knockout style competition from the round of 16 on, which is a little bit different. But there's a better share of clubs from across competitions, both in the East and the West in this, which makes it really, really good. But the big thing is the prize money for the winner is like 10 million US dollars, which is just incredible. Now, could the Mariners go all the way? I doubt it, but if they do, like that's incredible, incredible money.
Yep.
I
mean, even if they make the round of 16, that's $1 million USD already guaranteed.
That's right. But they're up against a big challenge. I mean, you've got big teams like Vissel Kobe, Yokohama F. Marinos, who made the final of this year's Champions League. Big clubs from Korea, big clubs from China, and then Buriram and Johor, Central Coast are probably your lesser known teams in that kind of zone, as well as big clubs in the West as well. So it's going to be a tricky competition for the Mariners. We'll see how they go, but the AFC 2 or ACL 2 now, which replaces the AFC Cup, that is a little bit more like what we've seen in the past with 8 groups of 4 teams. There's East and West, but that is no longer just your terrible clubs from second-rate nations. So I guess you saw lots of teams from Indonesia and Myanmar and Tajikistan.
Yeah, I think there's a third team comp now, so maybe that's where they're going to go.
Whereas now you've got Japanese teams, you've got Korean teams into this, so it more closely kind of follows the European model, where you know your top 4 from the Premier League make it into the Champions League, but then 5th and 6th are making it into this second tier, and so it's still big leagues. And so Sydney FC definitely won't walk this competition like the Mariners did. It's going to be a lot harder for them, but there's still good money on the line for them if they can go to this competition and get a deep run. So big changes for the ACL. Bradley, what do you make of that, and in terms of what it means for Australian clubs?
I think the extra money gives a lot more incentive for clubs to try and qualify for this. Even a bit more of incentive in the Australia Cup. Just winning the Australia Cup guarantees you over $500,000 Australian dollars just to qualify for this ACL 2. So I think that should be a big driver, particularly in a time when there's so much financial uncertainty around the competition. It's good money to win. To get. And would have been great when the Wanderers won it. There was 20 mil or 15 million Australian dollars lying around for them to win. But it can only just drive the clubs forward and wanting to qualify for this with this extra money. I think it's a great initiative. And I think some Australian clubs in the past have just, they've qualified, so they have to play in it. Not many clubs have gone into it wanting to win it. And so hopefully this will give them a bit more of a drive because of the money that's online, but also because you're in it. You want to win it. You just don't want to turn up and be a number. You want to actually win it. They should be doing that anyway, but it'll be hard going up against these teams.
Yeah, absolutely. No, the money though is so much greater. So obviously, Asian Confederation's doing some good things, got some great sponsors behind it, and to offer up $10 million to the winner of the Champions League, it does make it no longer just prestigious by name, but actually winning this competition is going to contribute a lot to the clubs in Asia. You think of even Japanese clubs and clubs, Korean clubs, maybe your Western state teams like your Saudi Arabia are less interested in 10 million. Although $10 million, like I don't think anyone's going to turn that away.
No.
So it's a huge incentive, a massive growth, and I think it accurately reflects just the growth in Asian football, which has been getting better and better, and some real quality around. So exciting changes, and I guess it does link to the Australia Cup because the winners get that place in the ACL2. So that's why Sydney FC are in the ACL2 for this iteration, for this new competition, and Mariners winning the league get their ticket to the ACL Elite. So that's really exciting to see, and we'll be getting behind both those teams. Obviously, no matter who you support in the A-League, you want the Australian teams to do well in these competitions because it opens up the possibility of us getting 2 slots in those competitions in the future, and that financial benefit flows to the rest of the league as clubs earn money and distribute that. So really good news for Australia with these competitions changing.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. I'm excited to see how they go. I mean, nothing infuriated me more last season than Melbourne City conceding a last-minute equaliser against some Chinese team they had dominated, and in turn wouldn't qualify to the next stage despite being undefeated. So, come on, you Mariners. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, that's right. So that's probably the end of our chat for this week, and thanks so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you're a new subscriber here and you come along and watch this, I hope you've enjoyed this chat. We'll continue to chat throughout the A-League off-season and bring a lot more of those historical videos. We definitely plan to do that more because you guys have been enjoying them so much. So thanks for the support on those videos. It means a lot to Brad and I, who've been kicking around on this channel for 3 or 4 years now, and just seeing that kind of response to videos is awesome for us. So yeah, thanks so much for watching and subscribing and interacting with us. And
it's been great.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see you in the next one. See you, Brad.
See you around.